Greetings and welcome to another Final Fantasy Brave Exvius video. Today we're going to be discussing Trustmaster rewards, the problem with the system, and some ideas we're going to toss around here and there that I thought might help fix the problem, or some of the problems, and I think one even changes the system entirely, but we'll get to that later. Now, if you already know what a Trustmaster reward is, you can skip ahead. There should be an annotation in the video around now, so that you can skip to my suggestions or ideas that may or may not work. Now, if you're still here, it means you don't know what a Trustmaster reward is, and you're curious as to what the problem with it is. Well, to put it simply, a Trustmaster reward is a unit rewarding you for using it a lot. And by a lot, I mean a lot. Now, originally, this system was probably designed to reward you for using your favorite units over all others, and they eventually give you something cool. Now, the problem with this system is that it is not a guaranteed it's not something that happens for guaranteed when something happens. If that makes any sense. Basically, whenever you finish a map, any map at all, there's a 10% chance that their trust for you will go up by 0.1. That sounds ridiculous. It is ridiculous. It's how the system is currently in the game, and it's definitely something that everyone, including probably most of the devs, agree that is a problem. The reason it's a problem is because it takes an average of 10,000 battles to get a Trustmaster from 0 to 100%, which is what you need to get it. So if that sounds extreme, it is. Now, the problem with that is that the only way to get them at a decent pace is to use any form of automation, either through a macro or through some automation program that I'm not sure Android might have. For example, on iOS, the phone itself, on OS 10, there's a function that is specifically designed, and by the description it says, to help you do tedious duties in games over and over again. That's literally what the thing said. If you're curious how I did it on iOS, here's a link to the video that I did on how to do it on iOS without doing anything illegal. It's just part of the phone. Now, doing it with automation, I can get around 10% trust per week. I know this because when I got my couple of Sedanes that I finally got, I started farming their TMRs as soon as I could over and over again, using pretty much 99% of my stamina on that. Now, going by that number, it will take you 3 months to unlock a Trustmaster reward without using a Trust Moogle or fusing units. Does that sound like something you want to do for 3 months? Not really, does it? Especially when we've got all sort of events and arenas and daily quests to do every single day. That's going to take up most of the time and stop us from doing this. So it's either get the Trustmaster reward you want 3 months down the line, or do the events now that might get you something useful now. So yeah, that is the problem with the Trustmaster reward system. Now, how do we fix this? Well, right off the bat, the very first thing we could do is, say, just increase the amount of trust we gain, or the percentage of chance that we gain trust. Wouldn't that make it easier? What if we increase it from 0.1 to, say, 0.3 or 0.5? Now, just doing that alone would reduce the amount of time required from 10 weeks to 3.5 weeks to 2 weeks if we went with the 0.5. Now that's starting to sound a lot more sensible. Now the problem is, this calculation is done assuming you have a way to automate the process. Now if you don't have a way to automate the process, you might think, well, I can do it by myself, can't I? Well, in theory, yes, you could. I'm pretty sure most of us have tried doing it manually by ourselves, running map 1 on the Earth Shrine over and over and over again by ourselves. Now, I tried it myself, and by the 4th time, I literally said, yeah, this is not going to happen. I have better stuff to do with my own time, so I'm not going to do this. And lo and behold, a couple weeks later, I find out that I can do this on iOS, which literally does it by itself. Now, it's not perfect, but it definitely does the job. Now, that is the first idea on how to fix this system. Now, it does seem like it would be the easiest way to fix it, seeing as all you have to do is change one variable inside the game's code. Now, whether this is actually acceptable to the developers, or maybe they have some different ideas, I'm not really sure, but that's just idea 1. Now, another idea is that we leave the system as is, but we add a daily dungeon to the Vortex. Now, I'm not really sure how much this would cost in stamina, or how much it would give you in trust, but I'm pretty sure everybody would be happy with using 30 energy for 1% trust. Does that sound pretty good to you? It literally is saving you like 300 battles. So yeah, can you imagine logging in one day? Well, logging in during the day wasting 30 stamina, doing a run that is pretty much similar to the one for experience, and then getting 1% trust on all 5 of those characters, that sounds pretty good to me. And honestly, it's something that should be in the game, even though I'm not really sure why it isn't, honestly. It makes no sense why it isn't. It's so simple and such a simple idea to implement it. Well, not sure implement it, but to add it to the game and to make all your players happy. But yeah, I'm pretty sure no matter what they do, that is something that they should definitely add. And now, the final thing I came up with is an even crazier idea. Not that crazy, but what if we replace the percentage and percentage trust system with something, say, more interesting? Like, say, what if we replace that with a fixed number of battles that are required to unlock the Trust Master award? Does that sound interesting? Now, some numbers that I just thought of at the top of my head was, what if for a 6-star unit, you needed between 1,000 and 1,200 battles to unlock their Trust Master award? That's sounding actually pretty decent to me. That's probably about a week and between 1 to 2 weeks to get 1,000 to 1,200 battles. Now, the problem with this that I figured out later is that this does not take into account units getting increased rarities. For example, Vivi in Japan is about to get a 6-star ranking. However, over here on Global, Vivi is only a 4-star unit that gives you Firaga as a Trust Master reward. So that proved the problem. And there are lots of other units like this. For example, Kiao or Xiao, however you spell her name, used to be a 5-star unit, which gave you an excellent weapon for her, basically. But now she is a 6-star unit. So do we leave it at, say, 800 to 1,000 battles for a 5-star unit? Or do we increase it because you raise the rarity? That gets a little messy. So what if instead basing it on the unit's rarity, we base it on the Trust Master rarity? Now this isn't the same in the sense that Trust Masters go all the way up to 8 stars. For example, Noctis's Ring of the Lucy goes all the way up to 8 stars, but there are others that stay down below near the 5-star ranking or lower. Now this would make it so that no matter the rarity of the character you're trying to get, it would mean that the amount of effort you need to put into it is equivalent to the strength of the Trust Master reward. So if you want Noctis's Ring of the Lucy, you would have to say go through a lot of battles, and let's say if you want to get Vivi's Firaga, I'm not really sure why, you would only need to go, let's say, I don't know, 700 to 900 battles, or something around those lines. Now that makes a little bit more sense because you really are deciding what you want more. Do you want this Trust Master that is slightly easier to get, or do you want the super OP one from Noctis that's going to take you a longer time to do? Now obviously you want to get both at the same rate, or a little bit faster, honestly. But that seemed like a bit of an extreme system because it would probably require a lot of code rewriting. Not really sure if it would work, but out of all these ideas, I think the daily dungeon definitely works best. And if they decided to also increase the amount of trust you gain per map whenever it procs, that would also be a very welcome change. Now these are only the 3 ideas that I've thought so far, but I'm pretty sure you guys can think of some other ideas. Maybe something I haven't thought of. For example, the 5-star Moogles for specific Trust Master awards that they added recently help a little bit, but the problem with those Moogles is that you can get a Moogle for a character you don't even own. For example, I don't have Noctis and I get a Moogle for him, and I'm like, so what do I do with this thing? Do I keep it on the extremely rare chance that I get Noctis, or is it absolutely useless to me and I'm going to use it as selling fodder for 100 gil? So they didn't really solve much of a problem. Now they do help when it comes to special event summons like they did for the Ifrit raid, and how they can also help for the Egg Seekers currently going on. Now in that sense they are actually good because they help you get Trust Master rewards from event characters a lot faster. But it's still a bit of a iffy system. So yeah, those were my ideas. Hopefully this sparks a little bit of discussion and hopefully this reaches them in some way or another. I have an understanding that they're looking into solving this ridiculous problem with the Trust Master awards. Hopefully it's not too long before they actually implement their own solution to it. But yeah, thanks for watching, and we will see you next time for more maybe discussion, maybe guides, or something else. Later.